Alright, in this video I'm going to show you Jackson and Serenity. In the description below you'll find a link to a video from I believe 2 winters ago, where I did some of the very first time I tried to work with Serenity, teaching her to stay next to Jackson while I ride him. Now I'm riding Jackson in a bitless bridle and Serenity is loose. Since that time, 2 years ago, I've worked with them both about maybe 10 sessions, and I'm giving it, that's kind of liberal, it might be closer to like 7. But a lot of times they were just in the pasture, they were 5-minute sessions. So now we're 2 years later. I've done minimal liberty work with Serenity, and you can see kind of their progress. And I'm going to try to keep working with them as the weather and snow and footing allows it, with my goal of just having fun, having them both enjoy it. You'll notice I don't use a whip. I'm riding Jackson in a bridle, but there's no other tack. I am using clicker training and food to praise her. In this video, at the beginning, she ended up being a little bit energetic and kind of rushing ahead of Jackson. And so whenever she stayed back a little bit, I praised her. And so by the end of the video, we were making turns in both directions and able to trot. I was trotting Jackson and she was able to stay with me both on the inside and the outside circle, which was huge progress. So I'm excited to see if I keep working with her, where we'll end up. And hopefully the next video will be sooner than 2 years. Serenity is supposed to be on my right side. And today I haven't worked Jackson or Serenity in 4 months. So it's a cold, windy day in February. And so Serenity was pretty energetic, and so was Jackson. So we kept things fairly slow most of the time. So right there I clicked and rewarded for her coming next to me, which compared to the video from 2 years ago, she totally knows which side to come to. She totally knows what the score is here, basically. Jackson's being really good. He just wants to go. I didn't want to let him run around because it's pretty icy under the snow. So letting him run and get the energy out would have been potentially injurious. So I didn't. Right there, click and reward. Most of the time, I'll reward both Jackson and Serenity, but not all the time. Basically just walking in a big circle, asking her to come to me. Now, one thing to note, again, a click and reward right there. One thing to note is that a huge benefit to having her have a signal with my hand to stay next to me right there. She moved forward rather than to me. A big benefit was teaching her to step toward me for mounting. See there, she backed up to me. That was really good. When I taught her, and she learned in about 15 minutes to step toward me, like I was going to ask her to do the mounting block, she learned really quickly in 15 minutes to step over toward me. And that's kind of transferring to doing liberty work and the work here. So I hold my hand out. There she kind of lost connection a little bit. It's a little slippery over there. We turned around. And as soon as she got next to me, I clicked and rewarded. Again, horses, we have to allow the horse to leave or have the option to leave. We're in a big field. It's about a 4-acre field. She has the option to leave. What I want to reward, look at her step sideways like that. Do you see her step sideways there? Let me go back and show you. All right, here's the same clip in slow motion. See how the big gap we have between Jackson and me? I'm going to hold up my hand, and I'm going to call her name. See right my hand there? Look at her step sideways as she moves toward Jackson and I. That's such a huge change, where she understands that I want her next to me. And part of that came from teaching her to sidestep toward me, which has been hugely beneficial. And if you're on my private training group, that video is included, where I show you how I teach one of my horses, the very first session, full session, I believe it's only 12 minutes long, to go from not knowing how to side pass to completely knowing how to step sideways very gently. You saw her there. She went on the wrong side and she immediately switched sides to the side I wanted. Again, notice she's still kind of charging in front a little bit. Very energetic. She really wanted to do her own thing, but she likes the reward, and she's starting to enjoy this. So I give her a treat and Jackson a treat. And we keep walking here. I wasn't too picky with both of them because, again, I haven't worked them in 4 months at least, and we hadn't done any work on this in a while. And it was a cold day or a nice day out. They were both energetic. See, there's a nice turnaround where she stayed right with me, so I clicked and rewarded for that. That was a beautiful job there. I should be feeding for position, so I should be keeping my hand back and feed her so that she's always standing next to me, so she's always in the right place when I feed her. I'm going to try to work on that the next session that I do. As it is, I'm just really wanting to encourage her to not go in front of me. So whenever she goes in front, I just turn Jackson and go the other way. And then she knows to get to that side. See how she speeds up to get right with me? There, she's in front. I don't remember why I clicked right there. I might have... I don't remember why I clicked there. Well, sometimes I click on accident. Oh well. So there, she got in front. So we just turn and go our own way. And she knows to come right next to me. And see how there she kind of stayed back a little bit. Oh, now she's charging in front. So I don't click and I don't reward for that. Oh, chase the dog. Oh, that's always fun too. Not a big deal. She's, I believe she's pregnant, actually. Which tends to make her a little bit more protective than she would be when she's not. So she immediately comes to my right side. There, look at that. She came and she was very quick to stop there. Again, I'm rewarding her for stopping and staying with me. I'm rewarding her for staying close to my side, for not charging ahead. I keep rewarding for those kinds of things. Anyway, if you're part of my private Facebook group, you'll get more videos like this as I continue the training. So there, see how she backed up right there? I put my hand up, said back. Those are things that I taught some basics on the ground at Liberty. Again, without using any whips or ropes. See there again? She charged in front of me. Not charged. She walked too fast. So we just turn and keep going. There's no punishment. I don't, get mad at her. Try to do some stuff with Jackson. And right there, behind the camera, which you can't see, is one of my horses got out because they were jealous and decided to run around like an idiot. And that's what they're looking at, and that's why Jackson jumped. So not only do we have it's cold out, they haven't worked, and then we have a horse that's loose, running around all over, everywhere. So that was distracting and made for a little bit more exciting training. Hence why I'm wearing a helmet.
I'm just laughing at her knocking down my glove and then running away.
Yeah, I'm probably talking about the horse that was out. Yeah, she's being silly. So again, we walk. In only a few sessions, like Serenity learned which side to be on. And so I don't worry too much if she doesn't stay on the side. I'll just do stuff with Jackson. If Serenity were to not want to do anything today, I would just work with Jackson and not worry about it. She's not in trouble because she doesn't want to participate. And I would still do some training on other stuff and it'd be fine. They're just watching that horse run around. But since she did want to keep doing it, we trained for, 10, 15 minutes on this. So that way turn Jackson, go the other way. Basically, it gives her a chance to come on the correct side, just like that. There we go. See how she slows down right away? I can rest my hand on her shoulder there. There, she stayed back a little bit. Basically, I want her to be in a position, ultimately, where I can always reach out and touch my hand on her withers. That's where I want her to be, kind of by my leg. Now, right now, she wants to stay a little bit farther forward. There, she took just a little step and stopped when I stopped and is in the perfect position there. She kind of waited. That was huge right there that she didn't walk in front. There, good. And so the more she stays next to me, the more I'll reward her and the faster I'll give her treats. Because rather than charging in front, she's rating or making sure she doesn't go in front of us. So here, now we're turning to the right, which means she has to be slower and take smaller steps, which we weren't able to do at the beginning of the session because of her energy. So now we're making a turn to the left, which she's on the outside, so she has to speed up just a little bit to keep up. But I want her to speed up without going in front or losing position, which she did really well at. You can see Jackson's asking for his treat. Good. She takes a little bit of a side step to come toward me there. Basically, I'm just using a high rate of reinforcement. Anytime she's staying with me, I'm clicking and rewarding. I'm not going to ride all round and around in circles to try to get her to come. And what's really cool is as I move away from her, she likes to follow me. She stays next to me. So here I'm going to try to ask Jackson to step away. He's like, come on, let's do some tricks. Jackson's like, we haven't done anything in months. So he steps sideways, side passes a little bit. She's a little distracted, but that's totally okay. That happens all the time. And here she's going to side pass. Look at her swinging her butt over, right over there to side pass toward me. That's awesome. I love that she's doing that so well. And that's made the training go so much easier since we taught that. Now here we're turning again to the right where she's got to be on the inside, which means she can't go too fast. She got used to that. When I put my hand up, she slows down, which is so cool. And all of this is trained without whips, without ropes. We didn't put a halter on. It's all basically shaping, both a little bit on the ground, Liberty training, and then also riding Jackson every once in a while. But she loves to please. This is something she loves to do, to go next to like this. Riding, I haven't done a lot of riding with her, but one thing, she's a little buddy sour. And she also now has been injured a little bit. So even if we only ever do this kind of a thing, which she clearly loves, it'll be so fun. So here we're asking Jackson to trot. She's trying to keep up. And this is huge because it's really easy for horses when they speed up to want to keep speeding up. But she was able to slow down and stop. And then she backed up a little bit so she could reach the food. But again, they're pretty high energy because, one, their friend is running around loose. It's a cold day, so I'm willing to praise for a lot and just go, wow, you're doing so well. She's so consistently staying with me, with Jackson, just doing a phenomenal job now in both directions, really kind of hooked on. Even now we're going a little bit faster. See how close she stays? Not perfect, but even that stop there was so good as she stopped with us, didn't charge in front. Which is one thing my Arabian tends to do. He's like, oh, I'm just going to keep going. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. And so basically what I want to keep doing is keep fine-tuning this so it becomes easier and easier for her to stay in position. I want to do more stopping and backing up. I want to do more at faster speeds. But again, I don't want to go too fast right now because the footing isn't very good. Normally I'd be able to do cantering, but it's pretty slippery. So we're just going to stay at a walk and a slow trot right now. And keep encouraging that positioning. And staying with and paying attention. Again, your horse is always going to take their attention away from you. Something is going to distract them. That's normal. What we want to do is I always want to reward whatever they bring their attention back. Whether it's Liberty, whether it's catching them in the pasture, all of these things, I want to praise for their attention coming back to me. That is so huge in my opinion. And so that means my horse can be somewhere new. He can be distracted. But when I call him, he'll feel totally comfortable to come back to me because there's no punishment. He's just going to get rewarded for coming back. So I've walked around fairgrounds with horses and people and had Jackson totally loose. No tack on him. And he'll look away. I'll whistle and call his name. He looks back and he gets a treat. So that he always knows he can pay attention and come back. So you see how Serenity isn't quite in the right spot? That's okay. I know when I start walking, if she wants to keep going, she'll come back to the right spot. And as she gets better, it'll be so much more consistent. Again, in the description below, take a look at the video from 2 years ago and know that this is only about 10 more training sessions. And hopefully I'll be more consistent this year in working with both of them. And then I want to also add in potentially 2 or 3 more horses. We'll see how that goes. And then Serenity is also potentially bred and we'll have a foal, but that won't be till July. So here, ask Jackson to trot. Serenity's on the outside, which means she has to go just a little bit faster, but not faster than him. I want her to stay with me. And see how she stays back a little bit? Oh, a little slippery there. And stop. And she stopped right next to me, right where she could easily get the food, not in front of us. It was such a good job there. It was perfect. Here I'm asking her to step over. I have my hand out, not touching her, just holding it out. And as she's distracted, oh, there she paid attention. She took a little step over with her front. And we're going to call that good. That was an excellent session right there.